Hey, how you doing? I'm Steve. Welcome to my channel. Do you think there are songs that Van Halen should never have released? Well, someone thinks so. Let's see if they're right. I talk about Van Halen a lot. I know. I've been a fan from the very beginning. I've loved everything they've done. Some things more than others. So when I read this article from Far Out magazine in the UK called 10 Songs That Van Halen Never Should Have Released, well, it kind of took me aback. Was this someone on the anti-Sammy, anti-Gary, or anti-Wolfie trains, or what? Well, after reading the article, that just wasn't the case. They picked songs from every lineup of the band, and they based a lot of their reasoning on the drama that was going on in the band during that time, and less, I think, on the songs themselves. I thought this would be something good to explore, seeing if you all agree with their choices or think they're all wet. I've included a link to the article if you want to check it out yourself, as well as Amazon links in the description for the albums mentioned in this video, as well as gear I use daily. If you click anything and you go there and buy anything after you click the link, I might earn a small commission. It goes a long way to helping the channel, and I really appreciate it. Also, you might have noticed my new hat. We now have Rock's Not Dead apparel and gifts, and there's links down there in the description, and you can go there. We've got all kinds of stuff. We're adding new things daily. So if you check it out, find something you like, it helps the channel. I appreciate it a ton. So thanks a lot. Let's get started. 10. Me Wise Magic. This song is not one of the more familiar, as it was included as one of the two new songs on the Van Halen Best of Volume 1 release. It really has more of a Sammy era feel with David Lee Roth's vocals and lyrics over top of it. It's got a great groove, the guitar is awesome, and the vocals are great. So why did the writer think that this shouldn't have been released? Well, first, Dave was telling the press that there was a reunion coming, and then there was this.
Very disrespectful to Beck, as he's trying to thank, people, his acceptance speech, whatever. Dave's behind him doing his shtick, and it's like, I don't know. To me, it was embarrassing, but it was more so backstage, where he basically spit in my face.
Dave was being Dave. This pissed them off so much that Eddie and Dave almost duked it out backstage at the awards ceremony. So does that mean this song shouldn't have been released? I don't think so. I think it's a great song. What do you think? 9. Finish What You Started, OU812. This song has a bit of a country feel with Eddie pulling out, the writer called it his bag of old Clapton licks. I don't know about that. Yeah, it's got a different style, but it still has a Sammy era Van Halen groove and some cool lyrics. The writer said it sounded out of place, but would have worked if, quote, played at a dive bar with a bunch of middle-aged blues purists. He also called it dad rock. Well, I don't know about that either. I mean, sure, everything's dad rock now because it's old, but I don't know about the time. This doesn't strike me as blues at all, but it sounds like a Van Halen country song. I mean, could this be Magic, Take Your Whiskey Home? Those are bluesy songs. Anyway, I always dug this song. What do you think? 8. Humans Being. This song was written for the 1996 Twister movie by Alex and Eddie, along with a ballad that Eddie and Sammy wrote after the Balance tour ended. It came when, they were just coming off the tour. Sammy didn't want to do it, but he was talked into it by their manager at the time. Sammy wanted to record the vocals from Hawaii because his wife was expecting a baby, but the band insisted he had to be in California. Of course, this caused a rift, and Sammy finally relented and made 3 trips to California for recording, then finally moved his wife to San Francisco so he could be near her. Eddie decided to bail the ballad and extended Humans Being to a longer song, and Sammy wrote a couple more verses, recorded them, and then headed home. Turned out a second track was needed, but Sammy would not come back. So Eddie and Alex wrote the instrumental called Respect the Wind, and, well, this back and forth was what finally caused the band to break up. Would it have prevented the band from breaking up? Personally, I don't think so. This was just the final nail, as Sammy and Eddie were butting heads for quite a while before this. Something else would have caused it, but what do you think?
7.
Inside 5150. Now this song starts out with a synth groove that carries through most of the song, and the guys are saying random stuff into the mic. Sammy's got some lyrics going through there. It's got it's got a good groove and everything, but is it one of my favorites? No. But I don't hate it. It's kind of fun trying to catch what they're saying. It's got the groove. It's fun to sing along with. The author says that, well, it sounds like a fragment of the song and that they had run out of ideas. Also suggests that they should have pulled one of Sammy's solo songs in to replace it. Yeah, that would have flown.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
But in this case, I think the writer might have a point. It's kind of a filler song. But with that, they had 4 singles released that charted. Why Can't This Be Love at number 3, Best of Both Worlds at number 12, Dreams and Love Walks In both at 22. Aren't they allowed to have a filler song once in a while? What do you think? Should they have left it off?
6.
Tattoo, A Different Kind of Truth. This was the first single on the last album released by Van Halen with David Lee Roth on vocals and Wolfgang Van Halen on bass. It was based on a song that Van Halen wrote and played in clubs way back in 1977. They reworked it, and Dave wrote new lyrics, and it hit the charts, reaching number 67. The writer says it sounded like the band was working on autopilot, and Dave's verses were half-hearted and strained in delivery. Now, Dave definitely did struggle on the delivery of all the songs on this album. He can't sing like he used to, no matter how hard he tries. What I disagree with on this is that the writer says it sounded manufactured in the lab and didn't fit the rest of the album. This is my least favorite album. If you haven't seen my ranking of the Van Halen albums, I have a link right up here, or maybe it'll be right up here. This is my least favorite album by the band, but this was my favorite song on it. What do you think? Should it have been left off?
5.
One I Want, Van Halen 3. All right, you knew it was coming because Van Halen 3 is often everyone's least liked album. But that doesn't mean there aren't good songs on it. This one, the guitars are pretty cool. Gary's vocals aren't bad. That being said, this song does sound like Eddie sitting in with Extreme. The writer calls the lyrics meaningless, and I agree they aren't the best. But really, has he read the lyrics to Light Up the Sky on VH2? Just saying, but, well, with that, it's not my favorite, but what do you think?
4.
Sunday Afternoon in the Park, Fair Warning album. Okay, the author calls this one filler, and well, he's kind of right, but it's not terrible. Eddie said the song was inspired by Valerie Bertinelli at a time when they were trying to plan their wedding. And between her schedule and his, it was a very tight timeline. And this song expressed the stress and frustration he felt when they were fighting most of the time. Eddie also took full control over this album, so that's why it's there. What do you think? Was it a mistake for it to be included, or is it a cool song?
3.
Okay, this one I have a lot of issues with. Half the entire Diver Down album. Even though Fair Warning was a platinum selling album, it was one of the slower selling albums. Since Eddie had control, he took it kind of hard. Dave and Ted Templeman, their producer, got Ed to record a cover of Pretty Woman. And it snowballed into an album of mostly covers. Ed really didn't like the album, particularly the cover of Dancing in the Streets. He absolutely hated that song, and he never wanted to do it at all. With that, I still dug the album, but I think in this case, the writer's point about being only having enough for maybe an EP is valid. What do you think?
2.
Amsterdam, balance. Sammy had full control over the lyrics, and well, that didn't always sit well with Alex and Eddie. This song in particular, they just didn't like it. They felt the lyrics were more dissing on their homeland. They immigrated to the U.S. from the Netherlands when they were just little kids, and Sammy's lyrics referenced pot and other things they felt were negative. Sammy refused to budge on it, and well, he felt he was expressing his memories of visiting there when he was a tourist. Eddie really didn't like the lyrics, Wham Bam Amsterdam. Anyway, the music's awesome, and I've always enjoyed the song. But what do you think?
How many say I? How many say I?
How Many Say I, Van Halen 3. Okay, so the writer says including the song showed why Eddie needed someone to tell him what to do. While this is not the normal Van Halen song, and Eddie was not a great singer, I like it, and I'm glad it's on the album. Gary Sharon encouraged Eddie to sing the song, and I think Eddie's rough voice fit it really well. What do you think? So there you have it, my thoughts on the article naming the 10 songs that Van Halen never should have released. What do you think? Do you agree with the article? Are there other songs you think should be on the article instead of the ones that are there? Or do you think that none of them should be there? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more stuff like this, consider subscribing. Until next time, just remember, it doesn't matter what people think. If they don't like the songs we love them. And as long as we love them, rock's not dead. Take care.